Might just back up a little bit because we're kind of close. Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is KAS Glute. If you're not, welcome back. I am a one-on-one online fitness coach as well as a personal trainer, and then I have a lot of things that I do on the side. So my channel is a lot of fitness content, vlogs, food videos, and all of that good stuff. So make sure you subscribe to me down below and give this video a thumbs up if you do like it. That supports me and that lets me know you guys like these types of videos. As you can see, I'm in my car right now. My gym is just outside there. I am taking you guys not through like a workout today, but I kind of wanted to give you guys my top 5 glute exercises. And I say that they're my top 5 because they are what have really helped me transform my booty and grow some inches on my glutes. Before I go in though, I'm going to take my pre-workout because I didn't take it at home. I was just in a rush and I wanted to get here and kind of film it with you guys. So we're doing it here in my car. So I have 10 ounces of water, probably a little bit more than I need, in my Cloud Gray Heel Mix, which just launched on Cyber Monday. So if you haven't got your hands on it, do it because like look at this color. It's so nice. It matches with anything. I'm not a huge like gray type of person, even though I'm wearing like a gray hat right now, but this color is stunning. It's really nice. So use my code Kayla, get you 20% off, free shipping to Canada in the US. So I put the water in already and now I'm just gonna add my pre-workout. You guys have seen this probably a million times. Alani Nutrition pre-workout Hawaiian shaved ice. This is by far the best flavor that I have tried thus far. Put a scoop of that into my water and I'm gonna shake it. I'm not dry scooping just because I've been noticing lately I've been feeling like really anxious. So we're mixing with water. I also have a mini like Rice Krispies. I just wanted to get some carbs in before my leg workout. So I'm gonna eat this, drink this, and I'll catch you guys inside. Number 1 on the list I would have to say is hip thrusts. In terms of the other exercises, there is no particular order, but first and foremost, always hip thrusts. This is what you need. A bar, plates, and a barbell pad is much needed. This is basically what your setup should look like. So I always get questions on how to set up. So what I do is I roll the bar onto me. So a lot of people think that you sit on a bench and then put the bar on and then work your way down, but I always do it the reverse. So I have the bar in front of me, I sit down, I get my back in place. The lower part of your shoulder blade is what should be up against the bench, and then I roll the bar over onto my pelvis. Now some important cues that you can see here. You want your legs to make a 90-degree angle. So when I go at the top of the movement right there, you can see my legs make 90 degrees. I have a shoulder width stance, toes are pointing forward, and one other thing that's really key is keeping your neck and your face down. You don't want to be looking up, you don't want to be looking back, you kind of almost want to have a double chin. So this is just another view. This is kind of more of a front view. So as you can see, I have a shoulder width stance, my toes are pointing forward, my face is looking forward, and you are pushing through your glutes and your hips. You're having an anterior tilt. You're squeezing your glutes at the top. You don't want to overarch and you don't want to underarch. Another great tip is having your arms wide and straight. When you're holding the bar close to the barbell pad, your elbows will be bent and it actually puts a lot of tension on your elbows. Next up, we have back squats. Now, squats in general are not a glute focused workout because they are a compound exercise. They work lots of muscles in your legs, but I have been noticing noticeable changes in my glutes since I've been incorporating back squats in, especially heavy back squats. So some cues and tips for you to keep in mind. You want to have a stance that is comfortable for you. Not everyone is going to have the exact same stance. Personally, for me, what I find comfortable is a shoulder width stance, and I have my toes very slightly pointed out. Getting into more detail, you can have a high bar squat or a low bar squat. A high bar squat targets more of your quads, while a low bar squat targets your glutes. When it comes to the squat, keeping in mind a tripod foot is a very helpful cue to increase awareness of where pressure should be placed in your feet. The tripod foot, or the 3 spots to keep in mind, is the ball part under your toe, the ball part under your pinky toe, and then as well as your heel. This keeps your foot flat and fully on the ground, which helps for stability. Now, one thing you also want to keep in mind is that knee tracking. Your knees should go in the same line as your toes. Here, I'm showing the wrong way. Your knees shouldn't cave in, and as well, they shouldn't cave out. Another thing to keep in mind is having a neutral spine. So for the most part, this is having a flat or neutral back. Sometimes our backs naturally have a mild curvature, which is totally fine. You just want to keep in mind you're not overarching or rounding your spine during the movement. So here I'm showing my spine being a little bit overarched as I'm looking up. If you compare to the previous clip, you can see I look not necessarily down, but a little bit down and out instead of looking up. This helps me avoid the overarching in my spine. Another thing that's important to know is your bar path. So the bar should go up and down in basically a straight line. Shouldn't be going frontwards, like almost like you're falling frontwards, and it shouldn't be going backwards as if you're falling backwards. It should be about mid-foot, over mid-range of your foot, and going up and down. Third on my list is Romanian deadlifts. Now, I have seriously become so obsessed with this exercise. This has been an absolute game changer for my glutes and my hamstrings. So, some form cues and tips for you. You want to keep a neutral back. As you can see, my back is pretty friggin' straight. Now, a lot of people say that you can look forward, but I find when I look forward, it one, hurts my lower back, and two, it also arches my back. Stance should be shoulder width apart with your toes pointed forward. Some people say you can do this sumo, and some people say you can do this narrow stance, but there's actually just absolutely no reason for them. It just doesn't do anything extra for this exercise. Just keep it simple, shoulder width, toes pointed forward. Now, what you want to think about is, say you're standing in front of a wall and you want to hip hinge. This is a hip hinge movement. So you want to hinge your hips backwards as if you were touching the wall that is behind you. Once your glutes can no longer move anymore, then you stop the movement and you come back up. Now, one thing to keep in mind is your lats should be engaged and should be tight and activated. So you don't want your upper body to take over the movement. Your arms and the weight should move with the hip hinge. They shouldn't be leading the movement, if that makes sense. As you can see here, the weight should stay close and track close to your body. If you have the weight too far away from your body, that's also going to cause you to lead with the weight and your upper body. As well, that will cause you some lower back pain. The movement should be slow and controlled. If you're going too fast, you're not going to get the tension out of the workout. And as well, that can also hurt your lower back. Here is a visual of what I just talked about. So the weight is too far away from my body, and as well, my back isn't that neutral. The upper back is kind of rounding. Like the squat, looking up actually causes your back to arch, so I wouldn't recommend doing this. Again, looking down and a little bit forward. And then as well, you don't want to be doing half reps. This really just does nothing for you. The fourth exercise is Bulgarian split squats. Everybody hates this exercise because it is such a killer. It absolutely demolishes your leg. So to start the movement, it's important to get your foot placement in line and set up. So to make this more glute focused, you want to have a farther stance. So your front foot should be placed farther away from the bench than it would if you were doing a quad focus split squat. As you can see, I also started with the weight on the ground. I find this the easiest because for me personally, I'm using 45 pounds, not here because I'm just doing a demo, but when I do my actual workouts, 45 pounds is a heavy dumbbell, so having it on the ground and then picking it up from that position is always the easiest. So what you want to do is knee tracking. Keep that in mind, kind of like the squat. Your knees should be going in the same direction that your toes are pointed. Here, toes should be pointed forwards. I like holding just one dumbbell, but you can definitely hold two dumbbells, so one in each hand. And what you want to do is keep a neutral spine, and you want to sit into the movement. So as you can see, I am going down and into the bench. Spine stays neutral, but having a slight lean forward. This targets your glutes a little bit more. As you can see, my knee is not tracking over my toes as well. And one thing to keep in mind is here you want to push off of your heels. Last but not least, we have 45-degree hyperextensions. I 1000% believe that this is the most underrated glute and hamstring exercise. This is absolutely killer, and it's from Brett Contreras. If you don't know who that is, you definitely need to check him out. Basically, it is like a back extension, but you're not fully extending up. So as you can see, I have a rounded back. I'm holding the weight not close to my body, but I'm holding it almost like in front of me. My feet are pointed at a 45-degree angle out, and I'm squeezing the glutes at the top. So this is showing another angle of how your feet should be. So you have them flat on the little platform and pointed out 45 degrees out. Keeping your back rounded puts the tension in your glutes and your hamstrings versus your back. And as you can see from this angle, you should only come up about 45 degrees or halfway through the movement. This is absolutely killer, and I always add this at the end of my leg days. All right, guys, that is the end of my top 5 glute exercises to grow the booty. I'm actually exhausted. Like, that was more than a workout for me because I was recording so many different angles and stuff. That's why I was using lighter weight, and then sometimes I was even showing you with, like, when I was squatting, I was just using the bar because I was getting so tired. I kind of also wanted to talk about 2 more things that are really important when it comes to growing your glutes, because obviously the exercises that you're doing are important, but 2 other things that go hand in hand with growing your glutes is 1, progressive overload, and 2, getting enough protein in your body. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what progressive overload is, it is basically doing more over a period of time. So say you're going to the gym and you're squatting 3 sets of 10 reps at 90 pounds. The next week you want to aim for something a little bit heavier, maybe 92.5 pounds or 95 pounds for 3 sets of 10. Now, I think it's also important to note that this is not something for most people you can't do every single week because you have to build up the strength. So progressively overloading every few weeks is, I think, the most realistic and most ideal. The number 1 way to grow your glutes via progressive overload is by increasing your weight. There is other ways that you could progressively overload. That's by tempo, by adding more reps. So example, instead of doing 3 sets of 10 reps, you do 3 sets of 12 reps, or vice versa, it's adding more sets. So instead of 3 sets of 10, you're doing 4 sets of 10. But the number 1 way is via increasing your weights, and this is not even just for your booty gains or your glute gains. This is just for overall strength and overall body gains, your back gains, your leg gains, anything and everything. The best way to progressively overload is via weight. Now, the second thing that ties hand in hand is your protein intake. A lot of people do not eat enough protein. If you want to build your glutes and just muscle in general, you should be eating anywhere between 0.8 grams of protein to like 1 or 1.1 grams of protein per pound of body weight. So for example, I weigh right now 138 pounds, but for the sake, let's say 140 pounds. So realistically, I should be aiming to eat anywhere between 135 grams to like 140 grams of protein every single day. Personally, for my goal right now, I'm reverse dieting. I've talked about this in a few other videos. For me, protein is super important, so I'm eating 1 gram of protein per body weight, so I'm technically eating 140 grams of protein every single day. Now, it's really important with protein to hit this goal every single day because protein is that one macro that actually does not store in your body, so you really need to eat it every single day and hit your goal every single day. Hopefully that kind of makes sense to you, but prioritizing protein is huge. I never used to track my macros or my protein specifically, and since I started doing it through my reverse diet, I'm almost in week 5, I have noticed so much, not even just like booty gains, but just overall physical gains. My shoulders are looking more like capped, my back's looking better, I'm feeling more full, I'm feeling better, and I feel a lot freaking stronger. So I definitely wanted to throw that in there. Make sure that you keep in mind progressive overload and getting your protein. Speaking of protein, I'm so hungry after that workout. I picked out Freshie. I don't know if this is a thing in the States. In the States, you have things like Canva or I don't even know. Like, I see all these fitness girls eating at these places, but in Canada, or at least in Ontario, we have this thing called Freshie. I got the teriyaki twist bowl and I added chicken on it. As you can see, it has like carrots, broccoli, brown rice, cucumbers, edamame, some sesame seeds. It has like these chips. then the chicken, and I think that's it. Green onions, and then teriyaki sauce. Really good. The bowl itself actually doesn't come with the chicken, so just the bowl alone is only 14 grams of protein, 90 grams of carbs, and 9 grams of fat. So I added the chicken, and the chicken gives it an extra 16 grams of protein, 1 gram of fat, and 3 grams of carbs. So this is gonna be a great post-workout meal. I'm gonna head home now because I am absolutely starving. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know if you want to see any other exercises or any other top 5s, you know, like back workouts or whatever it may be. And I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye.